where I want to line this thing up. I usually keep it in the center or on a grout line. Determine my height. I look for a trim line or a grout joint, and me and the homeowner, we decided on 78 tall, which is going to that grout line. And normally we put the hinges 8 inches down and 8 inches up, but because of this little stone here, we went 9.5 down and 9.5 up, so the hinge will be right here. And I try to center it on that threshold if I can. And I always measure twice, 45 and 3/16. And I always double check with the back of my tape, because that is very accurate. You know, it's down to the 16th on it. Measuring up. I got 10 and 9/16. And when we make the glass, we'll actually notch at it 10 and 9/16 because it'll be sitting on a couple 16-inch blocks. So that'll bring it up. And we're going to have to notch this one today, notch this marble.
I guess there's two.
It's not a normal practice, but we can do it. You know, most glass companies will have a granite guy out here to do it, which is fine too. Cause
we can also go around that as well. If
yeah, we can notch the glass around that too, but that's a little more difficult.
Right.
A little more measurements. And they wanted to make this seat as big as possible, but I can't get too close to here because I got to be able to put my plate on. So I'm staying about an inch and a half away from that. I'm coming over 11 inches for their seat. And then my return panel, I'm making 42.5, which when I get down to here, it's just inside that grout line, because this one always overlaps this one, so you don't want to see that edge of the glass.
Right, the front one overlaps the one.
Yeah, it just looks nicer. Or if you want to really get fancy, miter them both.
I can miter to 45.
But that's a little more expensive.
Sure. And then you just took the measurement from here to find the center line of where you were on here.
Right.
Okay.
And then after I get all my measurements, I'll put my level on everything.
How many levels do you recommend bringing to a job?
I keep 4. I got an 8-inch, 24, 4, and a 6. And on every application, you really need it because you can't tell this wall's out on a 4-foot level.
No.
I used to do it and I'd miss a little bit every now and then. So this one was actually perfect.
Oh wow.
I mean, it's dead center.
You don't see that too much, do you?
No, I mean that one is dead center, so that's good. I'm using this one because it'll go above that, because I'm going to the top of that tile. And this one was actually out, what did I say? Only 3/16. And I mean, it's not much, but if it's more than 1/8, you really need to make it out of square, so you're not kicking and messing up all the alignments and everything else.
Right. So that's kind of a rule of thumb you use.
Yeah.
Anything more than an 1/8,
Yeah.
or at least an 1/8, you can work with a 16th.
Yeah.
Right. So anything at 1/8 or more,
Yeah.
you usually cut out of square.
Yeah. It just makes it easier in the long run for you're not doing too much. When everything's perfect, you still got to jack things around a little bit,
Right.
kick a little here, kick a little there. And then this seat was out 3/8 of an inch. I came up 3/8 of an inch on that one.
Right.
Exactly. So when I got this measurement, I deducted 3/8 off this end. So this end's actually 3 inches shorter.
Yeah, because this was going uphill, right?
Yeah.
Right.
This could be a problem. I've done this before. When they ran out like this, water came around and ran out the door. But he had all these super jets on here too. This
Right.
one shouldn't be a problem.
Right.
But even the homeowner's surprised that was out so bad.
A lot of times these guys are doing that. I think that's the biggest problem that the glass folks run into are outages, and
Yeah.
and people don't measure for
And
them.
the threshold was perfect.
Should I purchase a laser level when I'm in here?
For
What do
me
you think?
personally,
Okay.
I can do this faster than set up a laser level.
Okay.
It'll be done. The LJ uses them,
For big showers, when you got like
3 or 4 pieces.
9 feet tall shower,
Right.
I like to use laser to align everything with laser,
Okay. So tall ones especially help.
especially tall.
More than 2, 3 pieces, you know, 4 or
Right.
5 piece deal.
Okay.
But sometimes, if it's more than 3 pieces that you're fitting together, I'll even sometimes talk, well, I know I'm good from here to here, and then I got to measure this one because
Right.
there's just sometimes there's no way to get them all right.
Right.
rule of thumb on the width, I back off a 1/2 inch. That allows you 5/16 on the hinge side, 1/8 between the glass and panel, and the 16th to play with. I usually just take off 7/16, but if one of these tiles is out just a hair, like one
Yep,
bumps
okay,
out a
I
little
see this
bit,
a little bit.
that's where you need that 16th to play. Plus you got a little play in your hinges.
Right.
And
Now, the CRL's deductions do that on the Shower Pro that Cardinal uses?
mhm.
We take it out that way as
But
well?
I use my own though.
Okay.
If I order something complete with a header,
Mhm.
I'll use your deductions.
Right. But if you're doing it, so that's an option that you can use the glass size exactly, or we
Yeah.
can do the deductions.
Yeah. Cause I always do glass only or complete.
Right.
And complete is fit tight measurements. And so we can get started. What it is, we know the width of this one, we'll double check it,
Okay?
and we'll hold up this panel and mark that where that corner actually stops and starts.
Okay?
Because first we gotta notch this.
Okay.
And actually we'll put up this piece first, but we gotta know where our notch
Yeah.
is.
Just the basic tools you need. You said you like to have 4 or 5 levels, different sizes.
For the measurements.
For the measurements. We're gonna need, obviously, tape measure.
Tape measure.
We're gonna need something to mark with. Pencil,
Sometimes.
tape.
Tape is nice, so if you got a mark on the marble to get a measurement,
Right.
you can pull it right back up.
You can peel it right back up. Gonna need a power drill for screws. You're gonna need drill bits.
Yeah, always use, well, I got a hammer drill for the tile,
Right.
and then when you're putting in your screws, you want an impact drill, because it don't strip them out. It really, because it beats it,
Mm-hmm.
and it keeps you from stripping. A regular drill will just strip that screw out. You hit something really hard, or
Okay.
get into a stud, and you got a 3-inch screw.
Right.
This does the
That
job.
does the job. Different, probably a bunch of different drill bits, diamond, tipped, and regulars for
I
going
use-
through this.
3/16 masonry bits,
Okay.
and that's basically all it takes.
3/16 masonry.
Yep. And then I like these blue plastic plugs. These are just, I don't know, they're the best.
Right. Now, when you go into a situation like this, it's already finished. Do you look to see if there's proper support behind there?
Well, once it's done, I have no idea.
You have no idea.
A lot of times I'll look up at people. I'll come out while they're framing.
Sure.
I said, if you can beef this up with some studs, you're
Great.
great.
Right.
But it's not necessary.
Okay.
I have one at home that missed the stud.
Got it.
It's not 28 by 78 door. This is.
Right.
I usually go with 28-inch doors just because that's what your interior doors are. So it's a
Right.
nice big door.
Right.
You can always go bigger and smaller.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess it depends on if the commode was in the way or so on and so
Right.
forth. Right. I noticed you got a hacksaw in here.
That's
I know
just-
that's a big problem that a lot of folks that I've talked to, they don't have a hacksaw, and I know
It's one
that,
purpose.
that we try to cut the metal as accurate as we can, but sometimes we make mistakes.
Right.
It's good to have it there so you don't have to drive back to the shop, right?
Well, I use that to cut my sweep, that 3/8 sweep that goes on the bottom.
Got it.
Because it's hard to do with snips, and
Yeah.
it can be done, but it's a lot neater, cleaner with that.
But it is good having the
Silicone.
metal's not cut right.
Yeah.
A lot of folks even have chop saws. If they have room on their trucks, they could have a chop saw
Yeah.
in case they got to do a miter. I
Especially a
know-
miter, yeah.
Yeah, I know when we get in sometimes on the channel doing different miters, if they're not a perfect 22.5 or 45-degree
Right.
angle, we kind of leave it up to the customer if it's a 28 or 29 because it's almost a field job type
Yeah.
scenario. All right, so you're going to show us how to install with both U-channel and the clips.
U-channel's a little simpler, lot more margin for error. You got a lot more play in it.
Mm-hmm.
But you got all that. How deep is that? 5/8, half, and 3/4.
I think these are 3/4.
3/4. That's a lot of play. But U-channel's pretty simple. Just keep it all lined up. Just put it in there. Anchored just like you would. 3/16 drill and countersink inside the track.
Countersink inside the track.
Yeah, so the screws flush. It does fit in there.
You put silicone down in your screw holes, or do you just wait till you silicone
Oh, just on the bottom ones.
just on the bottom ones?
Yeah. We're just gonna tape these in place since we're not really anchoring.
Sure. So the U-channel definitely allows quite a bit more room for error.
It's a lot easier too,
Yeah.
actually. But people, when they buy a frameless shower door, they don't
Right.
want to see any metal.
They want to see any metal, right? I know there's a lot of argument sometimes about what
I get-
exactly a frameless is.
Well, like originally he said, maybe I want a panel, door panel, then all of a sudden you have to have a header.
Right.
I said, let's just hinge it off here.
Right.
No header, looks so much better.
That's right. Yeah, when you hinge off the wall, that definitely lets you have some flexibility and not have to use a header.
Yeah. And it just looks nicer. People go, well, that's not frameless now.
Right. Now, I know a lot of people ask sometimes if you can get away with not using the clips or the channel and just silicone it. I know we don't recommend that.
I don't recommend it.
I mean, silicone is I know GE 1200 says that they can get 400 pounds per inch. But what I always worry about is, you know, when silicone does deteriorate, what kind of hole are you getting at that point? I mean, it might be great when it goes in, but so we don't recommend it. We won't warranty it if they're not using channel or clips or proper support.
One reason is, like I said, these new products, they clean these showers, but they eat that silicone away, and all of a sudden it's gone.
That's a good point.
You know,
That's a good point. So you put this up, you go ahead and you drill down.
drill, countersink it, anchor with the
Drill, countersink, anchor it, get it all lined up.
Yep.
Looks like the guys had the miters all right.
And usually, yeah, that's really good. And then we'll put I'll try it first.
Okay. You just kind of put the glass in there.
Put glass in there, take it back out, put some silicone in it, not a lot, just a few globs here and there.
Okay.
Because if you ever got to take it out and you fill it up,
Right.
it won't come out
It won't come out.
without breaking it.
Okay. So if you just put a couple
But
gloves.
if you put, a spot here, that way, if you ever got to take it out, you can break
Right.
each
You can
spot
break.
at a time.
Right. Of course, the install bag comes with the glass blocks, and you can use the glass blocks. You set them in there, and you usually cut them with a razor knife. You have to adjust the height of the glass if there's any outages.
Yep. That's why I like to try it first.
Very good. So your channel's easier.
Yeah.
But
You
it
can
does.
pick that up and add a block,
That's
slide
right.
right up and down. You
But
get
it
where you
does
want
take
for each
away
step.
a little bit from the frameless look.
Yes.
Okay. I see you got a bag full of extra stuff.
Extra
You like the
screws, you strip one out, I got an extra screw.
Yep.
Always have plenty of masonry bits because you never know what kind of tile you're going to hit.
Right.
And it'll be, you can burn one up in a minute. So you always got to have extras, always. A number 2 and a number 3 Phillips head.
Yep.
Because we use the 2, but when we go to torque them down,
The hinges, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
We use the bigger Phillips head.
That's right. Probably some Allen wrenches, because I know some of the hinges now have Allen wrench fittings.
Right.
And most of
wrenches.
the times that comes with the
Comes
Allen
with it.
wrench, but it probably wouldn't hurt to have a spare set of Allen wrenches.
Because every time one comes with one, just hang on to it.
Hang on to it. Absolutely.
Suction cups, gotta have suction cups.
That's tools that they need.
Oh yeah, suction cup's always a good tool to have.
Gotta have.
Doesn't work real well on pattern glass unless you go to the inside, right?
Yeah, it's gotta be smooth.
Gotta be smooth glass. I
Doesn't
know
work on pretty much any smooth stuff.
yeah, cast glass is, they don't work very well on cast glass.
Wood shims, very good product. Plus we use those clear, we'll replace them with clear blocks and turn them after we're done.
Right.
But those are perfect. When you're doing your door, you put double or triple them up on each side. You set your door on, you need to go up, down, left, right. You just push in and out on
Just
your
push it in
shims.
and out.
Whichever way it makes it go up so you get your nice even margin up here. And if you got 2 guys that knows what they're doing, so you know the next guy's move,
Mm-hmm.
and normally I have those boxes open and ready for him.
Okay.
And I'll be standing and holding them up on the level for him.
You suggest having 2 people to do an install of this type?
You have to.
Yeah.
You really have to. It's tough on one guy. Isn't it?
Yeah. You got to have too many hands at certain points. Use a Sharpie sometimes because the pencil won't mark on some of this marble, and that dark color you just can't see it.
Yeah. Oh, so you're marking right now where you're going to make the
We
hole
did
for the
that center
clip.
of that hole. That's the screw for the clip.
The screw for the clip that goes in.
That's kind of dead center in it, LJ. The screw hole.
Yeah.
Dead center.
You're going in with your 3/16 bit?
Yep.
All right.
Always recommend have at least 3 batteries. So you can have one charger, use them one, and have a backup.
Thanks.
That work?
Yeah, perfect.
When it gets hot, it won't cut no more. It won't go anymore.
So what I'm seeing here, Brian, is that sometimes drilling these holes can take a minute.
Yep, that's the hardest part.
All right, well,
Yeah.
it's 10 more to. So Brian, we got the glass panel set in here. We got our clips finally drilled in.
Now
So what's our next step?
we're going to set the return panel and mark our holes. I just need to hold this one away a little bit, give him a little bit of room to get it in because it's already fits tight. So I'm backing it off a little bit so you can go it in there and come this way just a little bit. Perfectly flush there. Might want to check this for plumb.
Wow, nice. So once again, the front panel overlaps the return panel.
Yep. And I'm just checking for an even margin.
As you said earlier, this customer wanted to have more of a seat inside the shower, so we went all the way close to the tub, whereas
Yeah.
some folks might want to run the glass right on the edge so they have more lip for the tub.
Yep. And I'm almost on a grout line, which always helps.
And the grout drill's quite a bit easier. Do you always pick, if you could drill in the grout, would you
Oh,
rather
yeah.
do that anytime?
Anytime, yeah.
Do you have any problems with it holding up support-wise?
No.
No.
With the hinges, you can't.
Right.
This is probably the hardest part because you're like playing a game operation. You
Yeah.
think a corner, you're gonna explode your glass.
Right.
And it's heavy and bulky. And now, if we didn't notch that tile,
Mhm.
I'd put that one up first.
So if we wouldn't have notched the towel,
I'd put that one up first.
you'd have put that one up first. And the reason being,
Because I know where this one's gonna stop and start.
you know where it's going to wind up at.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So we got the holes drilled, and we are ready. We got the anchors in there. So now we put the clips on.
Yep.
Now, do you have glass blocks over here, Brian, or do you just have to have them for this one?
It's not touching. It's a
Okay.
16th away.
Okay.
If it was out of plumb, normally they got a little lean to it,
Mm-hmm.
and I probably would have had to, but as long as it's not touching, we're safe.
Okay. So scooting it on those shims right there is causing it to move easier for you.
Yep. It won't slide around. And
Right. Wooden shims.
And normally, if we got a little, we won't snug them all up till we get the door in, and then tighten down everything.
Tighten down everything at the end.
Yeah.
Just get them enough where they're holding.
Yeah, it's not going to
Now the gaskets, I know each one of the boxes comes with 2 gaskets, but you ever have a time when you run, maybe you're short a gasket, do you ever use tape or anything inside of it?
If you have to,
You
yeah.
have to.
Try not to lose them.
Sometimes maybe have extra.
Yeah.
It's important to have a gasket in between them though, isn't it?
Yes.
I guess I also understand that way you left that gap in there so you can get your clip in there. And you didn't mount it flush next to the tub there.
And those always fall out. A little plastic gasket. That's it. But when you get one lined up that good on the first try,
Yep.
you did something right.
You did something right.
Yeah.
Alright. Alright, so we got the panels up. I guess we're ready for the door.
Yep. You should have 28 and a half top and bottom. You got 3/8. And 5/16. But we got all this to play with. We can take it over a little bit if we need to, but it's gonna be a nice tight fit.
Hey, you're going to go ahead and mount your hinges on there to give you an idea where the holes need to be drilled.
You put them on, set it in place, mark them, set it back down, drill them, put it back in place, anchored.
I've seen people before try to just take and measure down to where the holes are going to be, taking a template off the back of the plate, and it gets hairy, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, plus we got a panel we have to line up on.
Right.
We gotta make sure it's perfect.
Right. Even when you're installing a single door by itself, you always put the hinges on,
Yes.
set it
Yes,
up, mark it.
every time. It's the only way to get it right every time.
Do you ever make a block that you put under there that would have like your optimum spacing?
3/8 black block is perfect.
So you sit up there. Now 3/8 is all you do?
Yep.
Okay.
3/8 or 7/16.
7/16.
I know that's normal standard.
Right.
There's two sets of gaskets. One is for 1/2 inch glass, one is for 3/8. So.
Right.
The
So the
3/8
thinner,
door, yeah.
yeah, the thinner ones are for the 1/2 inch,
Right.
Yes.
and the thick ones for the 3/8.
3/8.
And if you ever do have a problem, I know in the past sometimes the thickness of the glass it does have a variance.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
you could put both sets in there.
Yes.
But for the most part,
Sometimes we have
99
to. If we get one that's slipping or something,
Right.
we'll double up on them.
But 99% of the time, thin ones for 1/2 inch, thick ones for 3/8.
Right.
Very good.
And sometimes even that takes 2 people.
Yeah.
But he's very experienced. He can do it with one hand. Get it all in there.
And you like to try to line the glass, the back of the glass up with the
Yes.
back of the hinge?
But I never tie them too much, so if you have to adjust, we will adjust on the wall.
Right.
And we'll get it. That way we still adjust without it waxing, you know, with the tight down.
You really don't have but what, about maybe 1/8 of an inch of adjustment on a
Yeah.
hinge like this,
Yeah.
if you're fortunate that
Yeah.
day, but no more than 1/8.
Yeah.
I always push hinges first against the wall
Push them against the wall.
and then close this side. Tight this up.
That's a nice tight fit.
That is nice.
You can drop this one a little bit.
Down.
I'm still high.
Once again, using the wood shims,
Drop a little.
very handy.
It's a sounding way. Let me see.
So by adjusting the 2 shims, you're raising and lowering the door.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a good idea.
Okay, that's perfect.
Okay, this is perfect.
Alright, so now we got the top lined up perfect with the panel.
Yeah, now we have to align.
And we need to bring the bottom in. Be right on 2. 2. Give me about 1/2 inch, LJ. A little more. A little more. Just a 1/16. 2. 2. We're good right there. Ready, Mark?
Yep.
I see you drove at an angle though. Yeah, the screw's gonna go in at an angle.
Right. You don't want to go
Straight
close
in.
with the.
You can't go that way or straight because you hit your hinge. Since this door fits so tight already, I'm going to trim the heads off these. Normally I wouldn't,
Yeah,
but I already got a perfect margin.
perfect mark. So just take a razor knife and cut the heads off with the anchor.
Right there. It's fine. Don't
So you drilled them at just a bit of an angle because you're worried about the screw head hitting the face of the plate.
Right.
Right, okay.
I'll leave that there. Maybe just 16 this way.
Now that we've got it hung, y'all are just making a little bit of adjustments to get the
Yeah.
spacing you want.
Yeah.
Okay, right there.
And what are you looking for? Your optimal spacing between there?
Yes.
I try to get as tight as I can.
Okay.
8, 16.
Now the one thing, when you adjust it all the way back, you can't get to where the glass is almost touching the top, correct?
No.
That's where you gotta watch it.
Yeah. You can go all the way back to your hinge plate as long as you're missing it.
Right.
Your back plate,
Right.
as long as you got some airspace,
Yeah.
you got that much play.
Right. The handle's the easy part, correct?
Right.
I'm going to replace these wood shims with some clear blocks.
And those clear blocks are what, 16th inch blocks?
Yeah.
And if you were to have an outage or you had to build them up, you can simply stack them on top of each
That's
other.
right.
If you don't have enough glass blocks, I know that some people will cut those in half, correct?
Yep. Or fold them over.
Fold them over. Having extra glass blocks Probably can't hurt either, can it?
Mm-mm.
Stick your glass blocks into there, cut off the excess.
Yeah.
How many glass blocks you recommend? Just one every so often?
One on each end. I usually double them up.
Okay. Never ever do you set the glass directly onto the tile or marble, right?
No, never. That could cause an explosion.
Yes. Now, do you silicone both the inside and the outside?
Yeah.
Okay. And besides cleaning it up, you're probably pressing the silicone back up behind the glass, correct?
Yeah. And it gives a nice smooth margin. Fills it right in, makes it all nice and even.
That silicone's going to do quite a bit to support the glass in the years to come, right?
Yeah. That's another reason I left this margin, so I get these clips on. Sometimes you get it too close, you can't get that caulk head down in there.
I guess a big misconception is that you would only silicone the inside due to the fact that that's the only place that the water is going to be hitting, but since it's used as actual support, you want to do the outside as well. This is what's going to seal off that 90 corner, huh?
Yep.
And how long will the customer have to wait before they can actually use the shower?
24 hours.
24 hours?
Yeah. Got some excess right here.
Just takes it right off.
Because normally, it's better off to let it dry and scrape it off with a new razor blade knife if you don't have this. See, all that caulk will dry clear. You see that it's kind of milky colored and dry clear.
So Brian, are we pretty much done now? Just got to clean up,
Yeah, I'll pick everything up, get all my tools
Yep.
up,
take the
Wipe
stickers
the
off,
glass
wipe the
down.
glass down.
and be done.
Well, it looks great.
I like it.
You guys did a good job. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.